Bum ba da dum. Merry Christmas, y'all, or whenever you're watching this video. I am Banjo Ben. Welcome to banjobenclark.com or wherever you're watching at. We're going to learn a Christmas song today, Silent Night in the key of C. This is a basic beginner version, and I'm going to walk you through it. If you were looking for a more advanced version in a different key, maybe, I do already have one in the key of G that is more difficult. This one, we're going to keep that melody front and center and just add some other rolls here and there to help fill that melody in a little bit, because we are going at a slow pace and there is a lot of white space around the melody. And so we've got a lot of opportunities to serve up something tasty. If you are watching this on YouTube, someplace like that, then if you're a Go Pit member, you can come over to the site and download the tabs and the MP3s, play along with me there, download those, put them on your phone, whatever you want to do. If you are watching here at banjobenclark.com, thank you for being a Go Pit member. Don't forget, I have dozens more Christmas lessons. Let's jump into this one. We're going to focus on the melody on this one. And beyond that, we're not going to do anything too terribly difficult. There are a couple of things that I'm going to have you learn that may be outside the box of what you've tried if you are a beginner banjo player. And I'm going to use the opportunity, Silent Night, as an opportunity to get you playing some things that you're going to be playing in other songs. And we'll talk about those as we get there. Let's go ahead and throw up the tab. A couple things I want you to notice. Again, we are in the key of C. We are in 3/4 time. There are 3 beats per measure, also known as a waltz, which means we approach it a little bit different on the banjo because most of the time we're playing in 4/4 time. And you'll also see that I have my melody notes highlighted in blue. That's pretty handy. The reason why I have those is because we want to make sure as banjo players that we bring that melody out front and center. So a couple different ways that you might be playing this. You might be playing it solo, and this arrangement works great just for solo banjo. Or you can be playing with other folks. Either way, that melody needs to be the star. So we just want to put a little bit more volume, a little bit more oomph, if we can, into that melody. The second thing that I'll say about the actual playing of the tune is that we're not going to play it straight. You can, but what do I mean by straight? It would sound like this. Nothing wrong with that, but we're going to put a little bit of swing into it, a little syncopation, get that melody swing, and weighted eighth notes sounds more like this. You hear the difference? It's a bit more musical sounding, but you'll need to adjust that according to the groove that your band's playing in. So if they're playing a very straight rhythm, straight eighth notes, then you would adapt and play straight with them. But if they're leaving it open, you can swing it a little bit, and I think you'll like the sound of that just a little bit better. Now, I'm not going to do any crazy chords in this one. If you look at the first line there, we're keeping C chord through the first 4 measures. There's lots of different chords that we can throw in a Silent Night. I didn't get crazy with this one. It is a basic version. Also, you'll notice that we have a couple of thumbs in the row right off the bat in the first measure. Okay. Normally we don't do that with banjo, but normally we're going a lot faster. We're going so slow here that you could actually play this whole thing with one finger if you wanted to. So it's okay. We can break some rules, play a couple thumbs in a row. So I'm doing a partial C chord to start us off because I'm needing to use that middle finger to play that second fret. And then when I put it down in the second measure, I'm lifting my ring finger off the top of the C chord to get that open D string. Why did I do that? I just love the sound of that suspension. Next measure, repeat. Okay. So what I'd like for you to do is take those 2 measures, because they just repeat each other in that first line, and be able to play those by ear, playing without looking at the tab. I want you to, it won't take you long, just hit pause and play through those, get them to where you can hear it, not have to look at the tab, because that's going to be, that movement's going to be the basis for the rest of the arrangement. And I want you to have that in your heart so that you're not connected to this tab more than you should be. When we go to the next line, we're going to have a couple measures of a G chord, and I'm going to throw a 7th tone in there, that 3rd fret, but I'm going to keep the melody central. I'm just throwing that 3rd fret in there to give it a cool little G7 sound. That's a cool sounding chord, isn't it? And then in the second measure there in the line, we're going to do something that maybe you've never done before. We're going to do an inside roll. So I'm playing the 2nd string with my middle finger. And we're going to do an inside backwards roll. Moving on. The last measure on that line, we're just playing some quarter note walk-ups because we don't have any melody really ringing out through there, so we have time to set up the next chord. This whole line. Now we'll go to a partial F chord. Next line, measure 11. I don't have to play the full F chord because we're not playing that bottom note. So let's just play these top three. We're going to do kind of a forward reverse roll. So what did I do? I lifted my index finger, measure 11, to get that melody note. Now that's a bit tricky in measure 12. What's the melody doing? All right, it's going. And I'm playing some harmony notes above it. Part of an F chord, part of a C chord, part of another F chord, kind of, right? If that's too difficult, you can just play the bottom notes in there. Now the cool thing about measures 13 and 14, that's the exact same two measures that we started the song with, so you should already know that. The whole line. Some more repeating, the next line is just exactly the same. Now we're going to do something a little different in the next line that maybe you've seen before, maybe you haven't. We're going to take an opportunity to jump up and have a bit of a melodic lick. Have you ever heard that term, melodic? We're just meaning that we're going to play the banjo kind of like you would a mandolin or a fiddle or a guitar. Get away from the rolls and get more into melodic structures, okay? And we're going to jump up to a very common place to do that on the banjo, and that's the 3rd fret on the 1st string and the 5th fret on the 2nd string, okay? So we're going to go back and forth between those and grab the melody up there in a place that's maybe a little different for you. So you just need to know that when we jump up there, you're going to use your ring finger for the 5th fret. You'll use your index finger up here. So measure 19 sounds like this. Also notice that I jump down and hit that 2nd string with my thumb, and I recommend that you do that. Leave it down. In the next measure, measure 20, you'll place your index finger down on the 3rd fret and come back where you go back where you came from. So those two measures very slowly sound like this. Capo out of the way here. It always wants to be a bad boy. No presents for you, only coal. He just wants to come out and play. He's tired of being up there around the head stuck. The next measure. Okay, so nothing too difficult about that. We're just going to keep the melody coming out. So try to make those notes just a little bit louder. We do have that inside roll again, measure 21. So the whole line. The last line, we're playing only quarter notes, a bunch of pinches. What do I mean by pinches? I mean we're playing more than one string at a time. And it sounds more difficult than it is. And it might even look difficult. It's not bad. We're just going to use some chords and play some harmony notes from the chord notes together to create the melody and a harmony. So the first thing I want you to do is a full C chord in measure 23. And we're just going to play the two strings at a time, going through the chord. That's easy. Where's the melody? And then the next measure, we're going to still play the melody, but we'll move away from harmony and play unison octaves. I think this sounds really cool. First the G note, then we'll play a 3rd fret on the 1st and 4th strings, then open, so it looks like this. put both those together. Back to your C chord. Again. Then I want you to go back to a partial C chord. We don't have to do the middle finger. Measure 20. My eyes are bad. Measure 25. You do that. We're not having to move our left hand at all. We're just choosing which strings to play with our right. Then we're going to jump up the neck. Maybe you've never been there. If so, welcome to Up the Neck. It's not too bad up here. We're going to play essentially that F chord that we played earlier. We're going to play it up here starting at the 8th fret, makes it a C chord. It's only a 3-finger chord. 10, 8, 9. And that'll be our final note. So the whole last line sounds like this. A little key to playing that chord, jumping up the neck and playing it, is not to pick up your index finger. When your index finger is here on the 1st fret, it's going to slide all the way up to the 8th fret. And then you can leave your middle finger or your ring finger down too, to right there. I like to play that chord with my pinky, but if you didn't want to pick up your the fingers off the first 2 strings, you wouldn't have to. That's kind of cool. All that you'd have to do is just come up, spread them apart 1 fret, and then put your middle finger down. I like using my pinky just because that's how I normally play it. Okay, if you'll just hang tight, I'm going to play it all the way through slowly. And if you're watching here on the website, you'll want to scroll down and click that next video segment to watch me do that. And don't forget to download the MP3s and tabs. If you're watching somewhere else, YouTube, Facebook, just hang on. We'll play it all the way through slowly together. Let's play it slowly together. Remember, you can slow down or speed up the video by clicking on the little gear icon. Here we go. 1, ready, go.